Judging seats में
Honorable Justice Surya, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Rajesh Bindal, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Tish Chandra Sharma, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Mr. R. Venkatraman, Learned Attorney General of India, Honorable Justice Sheel Lagu, Chief Justice, Punjab Haryana High Court, Honorable Judges of the Punjab Haryana High Court, Honorable Justice Anil Khetrapal, Judge, Delhi High Court, Honorable Justice Arun Monga, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, Shri Satyapal Jain, Learned Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Maninderjeet Singh Bedi, Advocate General Punjab, Mr. Parvender Singh Chauhan, Advocate General Haryana, Mr. Amir Jhanji, Senior Standing Counsel, UT Chandigarh, Mr. Manish Bansal, Public Prosecutor, UT Chandigarh, my senior advocate colleagues, brothers, sisters at the bar, and other distinguished guests. I extend a very warm welcome to you all on this occasion of inauguration of the Bar Library, renovated in the memory of Justice Kuldip Singh, Judge, Supreme Court of India, popularly known as the Green Judge of India, for his enduring imprint on environment protection laws. He is one of those who laid down the principles like polluter pays and sustainable development, which have become the cornerstone of Indian environmental laws. We are privileged to have amongst us such distinguished guests on the occasion. We are truly thankful to you, sir, and we are honored. Thank you. It is a matter of great pride that Barrister Kuldip Singh, as he then was known, started his career as a lawyer with the Punjab High Court Bar in November 1959. He was known for his sharp legal acumen and principled advocacy, but above all was a people's man. In the early days of this High Court, all those who are here and almost my age or maybe older would recollect that Friday afternoons were spent in the Chandigarh club over drinks. So all his colleagues, all his friends would remember that when they went for a drink to the Chandigarh club, the first drink was always on Barrister Kuldip Singh, as he then was. My Lord has the distinction of being the third judge in the country to be elevated straight to the Supreme Court. The other two who were elevated before him being Justice S.M. Sikri and Justice S.C. Roy. We in this High Court must take pride to say that just like Justice Kuldip Singh, the first direct elevation was also from the Punjab High Court. Before his elevation, Justice Kuldip Singh remained President of the Bar in the year 1976-77, and he also remained Additional Solicitor General and the Advocate General Punjab. His contribution in the field of law, and particularly in enhancing prestige of the Punjab Haryana High Court Bar Association, cannot be put down in words. And so the idea of remembering him came up on the occasion of the oath of Justice Surya Kant as Chief Justice of India at Delhi, where I happened to meet Mr. Patwalia, and there we evolved this idea of having a library in the memory of Justice Kuldip Singh. Mr. Patwalia very readily and willingly agreed to renovate the library as a remembrance of the great soul. His legacy would continue to influence the legal fraternity in a big way. I thank you all for having spared your precious time and honored us by being here to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir.
May I now request worthy President Shri Sartej Singh Narula Senior Advocate to present memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Chief Justice of India. May I now request to Shri Nilesh Bhardwaj, Vice President, to present memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Bhagyashri, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
May I now request Mr. Gagandeep Jammu, our Honorary Secretary, to present the memento to Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Judge, Supreme Court of India. May I now request Ms. Bhagyashri Setia, Joint Secretary, to present the memento to Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
May I now request our Treasurer H.S. Maan to present a memento to Shri R. Venkataraman, our Attorney General for India. May I now request to all the executive members above 10 years to present memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Shri Nagu, Chief Justice Punjab Haryana High Court, Chandigarh. May I now request to present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Monga, Judge, Rajasthan High Court. May I now request to our lady members Rita Nambiar and Sheena Khanna to present memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Anil Ketabag, Judge, Delhi High Court. may I request the office bearers to present a memento to Mr. Justice, retired Justice and our member of the Senior Supreme Court, Mr. Patwalia, who's the backstone and the most important figure tonight in the afternoon, who has done the library work, and I pay kudos to Mr. Maan, who has worked tirelessly for the library. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Chief Justice of India, to share his views.
My esteemed colleagues from the Supreme Court of India, Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Justice Rajesh Vindal, Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Justice Shil Nagu, Honorable the Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court, distinguished judges of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Delhi High Court and Rajasthan High Court, Dr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, most respected, very distinguished former Chief Justice, Justice S.S. Sodhi, my sister Justice Ritu Bari, former Chief Justice, Uttarakhand High Court, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Learned Advocate General for the states of Punjab and Haryana, Shri Sartej Singh Narula, President of the Punjab and Haryana High Court Bar Association, Mr. Nilesh Bhardwaj, Vice President, Mr. Jammu, Honorary Secretary, members of the Executive Committee of the Punjab and Haryana High Court Bar Association, very distinguished senior advocates and esteemed members of the bar. Despite being Saturday, though a working day, in large scale you are present here. Shri Paramjit Singh Patwalia, Mr. Dipender Singh Patwalia, learned senior advocates, most respected family members of Justice Kuldip Singh, who are also here to grace this occasion, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. What a joy it to be present here in this bar room today, and thereafter it will follow the formal inauguration of the refurbished library in the honor of a legacy that shaped this bar and in many ways the constitutional consensus of this country. The library that is soon going to become an integral part of this institution now bears the memory of Justice Kuldip Singh, a son of this bar association, a distinguished senior advocate, and a judge who came to be known nationally and internationally as the Green Judge of India. When Mr. Patwalia asked me to be here with you on this occasion, I was last week traveling Bhutan, came yesterday night, and then I tried to recollect the old fond memories and the time spent under the guardianship and mentorship of Justice Kuldip Singh when he was a senior advocate and one of the most leading lawyers of this High Court Bar Association. I began practice in July 84 in my hometown and shifted to High Court in February 85. I must fairly concede that when I entered the profession and this professional world, that was both intimidating and inspiring for a young lawyer. Among the many distinguished figures who walked the corridors of the High Court, one presence stood out unmistakably was of Sri Kuldip Singh, the then senior advocate. By that time, he was already among the top towering and respected senior advocates at the bar. To a young lawyer like me, watching him stride through the corridors with quiet authority was almost a dream come true. My earlier interactions with Justice Kuldip Singh and then Sri Kuldip Singh, senior advocate, did not occur in the comfort of a drawing room or as a briefing counsel in a chamber. Rather, they came through the most authentic classroom available to any young lawyer, namely the courtroom and the corridors of the High Court. Like many juniors of that time, I did not have the opportunity to brief him much. The matters that came my way in those early years were modest, and engaging a stalwart of his stature was simply beyond the means of the clients I represented. I am quite sure that because of the nature and level of those cases, I did not get an opportunity where Sri Kuldip Singh as senior counsel would oppose me in any matter. Yet despite the absence of formal professional engagement, I vividly recollect several interactions with him that left a lasting impression. Like hundreds of other young lawyers of the era, I soon became an admirer of his courtroom craft. Whenever I had a free time from my briefs that I handled, I would go and sit either in court number 10 or court number 11. 11 I sat in that court for a couple of years. But those two courtrooms were my preferred destination. The bench there was often presided over by Justice S.P. Goyal or Justice I.S. Tiwana, and when Sri Kuldip Singh rose to argue, the courtrooms would come alive. To a young observer seated quietly in the gallery, I felt like witnessing a contest between two accomplished minds where legal arguments delivered with remarkable clarity, conviction, and intellectual force. One incident from those days remained etched in my memory. On that day, Justice Tiwana was sitting with Justice M.R. Agnihotri, and it so happened that before my case was called, there was another case of a government servant who had been dismissed from service, and his case was being argued by another very distinguished senior advocate, late Sri Jawaharlal Gupta. Though the court agreed to issue notice, but declined to stay the dismissal order, after a spirited exchange lasting nearly 15 minutes, the bench observed that a dismissal order once passed becomes operative and thus its operation cannot be stayed by the court. The petitioner side argument was that nothing can impede the powers of a constitutional court, and if you are satisfied that the order is palpably illegal, you please stay the order. Eventually, stay was not granted. Soon thereafter, my matter came. That was a writ petition challenging an order of suspension of an employee. As a very young lawyer, I argued the case with considerable nervousness. The court finally agreed to issue notice, but when I sought a stay of the suspension order, I very cautiously attempted to distinguish between suspension and dismissal from service. I submitted to the bench that because of suspension, the relationship of master and servant does not come to cease, and therefore I continue to be an employee where suspension, if you are agreeing that order is illegal, then it can be stayed. Justice Tivana, though, agreed with my submission, but he said, what is the great urgency that we should stay your suspension order? So I was finding no argument to show the urgency for staying an order of suspension. At that moment, Shri Kuldip Singh, who was seated in the front row waiting for his turn in the next or maybe one or two matters after that, he stood up and remarked to the bench that the young lawyer had drawn a meaningful distinction and at least he deserves to be rewarded. In fact, that argument worked in my favor. The bench smiled and stayed the suspension order. For me, that gesture meant far more than the interim order itself. It reflected the generosity of a great lawyer who, despite his towering stature, found time to encourage a young lawyer, a member of the bar. That moment remains one of my most enduring memories of late Sri Kuldip Singh, a formidable senior advocate, but equally a gracious mentor who instinctively nurtured the confidence of young lawyers. If I were to describe Sri Kuldip Singh in half a sentence, I would say this: he was a friend to everyone at bar. Whether one was a senior or a junior, a barrister or a first generation lawyer, from a modest background, he treated each with equal warmth and respect. Equality, if I am permitted to say, was not merely a value he spoke about, it was something he practiced instinctively in his professional life. Justice Kuldip Singh's professional journey was swift but never abrupt. It was anchored firmly in the soil of the Punjab and Haryana High Court bar, where he built an illustrious reputation across constitutional, service, land acquisition, cooperative, and election matters. His colleagues recognized both his leadership and professional stature when he was elected president of this bar association for the year 76-77. Long before national recognition came his way, he had already established himself here as one of the most respected and commanding voices at the bar. One of the most striking aspects of his career was the seamless transition he made when he was appointed Advocate General of the state of Punjab in 1987. Until then, many had known him as a senior counsel who would vigorously challenge the state. Yet, when he assumed the office of Advocate General of Punjab, he defended the state with the same conviction, discipline, and intellectual force. Watching that transition left a deep impression on me as a young lawyer. It taught me that the finest advocates are not defined by the side they represent, but by the integrity and professionalism with which they discharge their duty to the court and to the law. That lesson stayed with me for many years. When myself later had the privilege of serving as Advocate General, I often recalled how Justice Kuldip Singh had navigated that shift from a counsel who could fiercely question the state to one who represented it with equal vigor, without even compromising the larger duty owed to the Constitution and the rule of law. His tenure as Advocate General was relatively brief, but it demonstrated his capacity to balance the responsibility of the state's chief law officer with a deeper constitutional commitment. Yet, it was perhaps inevitable that a professional of his caliber would soon find a wider canvas. Justice Kuldip Singh clearly understood that the full measure of his professional abilities would be tested only when he entered the national arena. That opportunity came in August 1987 when he was appointed as the Additional Solicitor General of India in the Supreme Court. The move from the High Court to the Supreme Court brought him into a forum where questions of national importance and diverse constitutional issues regularly arose. In that setting, his reputation as a senior advocate matured further, and his remarkable command over complex legal questions became widely acknowledged. Barely a year later, in December 88, he was elevated directly to the Supreme Court of India, a very distinguished honor, as Mr. Narula explained in his brief speech. That journey from the corridors of this High Court to the nation's highest court was not the result of chance. It was built brick by brick through sustained excellence at the bar, intellectual clarity in arguments, and an unwavering reputation for fairness. Justice Kuldip Singh exemplified that path, and in doing so, he left behind a professional legacy that continues to inspire generations of lawyers who walk these very corridors today. Before I advert to very briefly touching on the contribution of Justice Kuldip Singh on developing our environmental jurisprudence, I wish to say that a moment like this invites a more serious reflection. What is it that truly survives a judge's tenure? Not the numbers of years in office, not even the volume of reported judgments. What endures is the intellectual and ethical message that flows through those judgments. A judge can, at one level, merely decide cases. At a deeper level, a judge can help a constitutional democracy clarify its priorities and articulate its values. In that sense, every judge leaves behind not just a set of decisions, but a certain temperament of the law. And if you ask me, Justice Kuldip Singh's immortal message as a judge has three parts. First, that access to justice must be real and not merely notional. Procedural rules exist to facilitate, not to frustrate the substantive rights. Second, the Constitution must be read in a way that keeps pace with social and economic change. It should be a live document, a flexible document, not a static book. Third, and most visibly, that our natural resources are not expendable commodities but constitutional assets that the state holds in trust for present and future generations. These ideas continue to inform constitutional adjudication long after the author has laid down office. That is what judicial immortality looks like. As judge, we do not choose the matters that come before us. The allocation of work is determined by the master of the roster, and every judge must faithfully discharge whatever jurisdiction is entrusted to him. Justice Kuldip Singh's early years on the bench were no different. He dealt with both the criminal side and the civil side, and soon he became known for taking a firm and uncompromising views in matters involving corruption or judicial propriety. Two of his judgments in that regard, Partha-Sharthi of 1992 and Chelanga Naidu of 1994, are remarkable judgments for developing both the jurisprudence principle and through a very strong message that he wanted to give. Justice Kuldip Singh's environmental decisions are often discussed. But we must remember that they sit within a broader pattern. He relied on principles like polluters pays, precautionary principle, and sustainable development and made them part of the Indian law, not as abstract imports but as tools to solve concrete disputes. In the Vellore citizens case, his bench accepted that development is necessary but insisted that it cannot be at the cost of irreversible environmental damage. In Taj trapezium matter, he applied the polluter pays principle and required industries around the Taj Mahal to switch from coal and coke to clearer fuel to protect not only public health but also a heritage monument. In Calcutta Tannery's case, he not only reiterated that one who pollutes must pay, but also directed the constitution of a green bench in Calcutta High Court, thereby institutionalizing environmental monitoring at the High Court level. If you read the judgments together, you see a coherent judicial philosophy that as judges, we use our constitutional machinery to ensure that our economic goals are achieved, but they should not come at the irreversible cost of our environmental capital. To appreciate the significance of this body of work, we must remember the economic context in which it was delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, in late 90s and 80s, India was entering an aggressive phase of industrialization and liberalization. The judiciary had a genuine apprehension that growth and infrastructure may not come at the cost of rivers, forests, coasts, and river and air. At that time, environmental regulations were still relatively new. Impact assessments, public hearings, scientific baselines were not as robust as they are today. In that setting, a strong right-based environmental jurisprudence was not only natural, but it was necessary. It served as a counterweight to unregulated exploitation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Kuldip Singh has also joined us. I just explained some judgments delivered by Justice Kuldip Singh on environmental law. And I was just summing up those principles. I will repeat as you have very fond memories of seeing that brave judge how he developed the jurisprudential, environmental jurisprudence in India. So I will just repeat, if you read these judgments together, you see a coherent judicial philosophy that, and this is the message Justice Kuldip Singh gave to all the judges, that as judges, we use our constitutional machinery to ensure that our economic goals are achieved, but they should not come at the irreversible cost of our environmental capital. To appreciate the significance of this body of work, we must remember the economic context in which it was delivered. That was late 1980s and 1990, when India was entering an aggressive phase of industrialization and liberalization. The judiciary had a very genuine apprehension, namely that growth and infrastructure may not come at the cost of our rivers, forests, coasts, and air. At that time, environmental regulations were still relatively new, like impact assessments, public hearings, and scientific baselines were not as robust as they are today. In that setting, a strong right-based environmental jurisprudence was not only natural, but necessary. It served as a counterweight to unregulated exploitation. Today, the context has largely changed. India has become the world's fifth largest economy, aiming higher still. Our population has increased sharply. Aspirations have multiplied. Technology and capital move across borders at a speed unimaginable 3 decades ago. Yet, the quantum of natural resources is broadly the same. The challenge before the judiciary in this way and in this phase is slightly different. We cannot afford a tunnel vision that treats every project as suspect, nor can we afford a complacent vision that treats environmental safeguard as negotiable. Our task is to move from a purely reactive model to a more mature environmental governance model, one that integrates environmental safeguards into the very design of development. In other words, the judiciary must continue to serve as a constitutional sentinel in matters concerning the environment. At the same time, our role is not to substitute policy choices or impede legitimate development aspirations that are pursued within the framework of law. The task before the courts is therefore one of careful constitutional balance, ensuring that environmental laws are enforced with seriousness and fidelity, while recognizing that sustainable development remains an integral part of the constitutional vision. The principle that polluter pays remains central. Those who cause harm must bear the cost of remediation and compensation. Justice Kuldip Singh helped entrench that principle in our law and made it a part of permanent Indian jurisprudence. Our environmental jurisprudence has since evolved considerably. The foundational principles laid down in earlier decades have enabled courts today to move beyond a purely reactive approach. Increasingly, judicial scrutiny emphasizes preventive safeguards such as rigorous environmental impact assessments, continuous regulatory monitoring, and greater transparency and disclosure from project proponents. The focus is therefore gradually shifting from merely addressing environmental harm after it has occurred to ensuring that development itself is conceived and implemented in a manner that minimizes the risk of such harm. The judiciary, in that sense, has gone beyond mere saying, if you pollute, you will pay. Rather, now it asks, have you done everything reasonably possible to avoid polluting in the first phase itself? The burden is increasing on the project proponent to demonstrate strict compliance with environmental standards, the use of best available technology, and a credible plan for restoration where damage is inevitable. This approach recognizes that we are no longer in an era of choosing between environment and development as mutually exclusive boxes. We are in an era where the only defensible development is the one which is environmentally responsible. So, how to strike a balance? The present need, future rights, and national aspirations. Justice Kuldip Singh's environmental jurisprudence offers a template in that regard. It reminds us that the Constitution is not indifferent to rivers, forest, and air. It recognizes the right to life under Article 21 in an expanded sense, and it sees the directive principles as more than decorative phrases. At the same time, his judgments do accept that development is necessary and that the state must plan for growth. Our task today is to carry forward that template, adapt it in new technologies and new economic models, and ensure that the law does not lag too far behind scientific realities. Today, that we are very soon formally launching that refurbished library in the name of late Justice Kuldip Singh, I wish to say that it is entirely apt that a library is named in Justice Kuldip Singh's memory. A library is not a museum, it is a living institution where young lawyers read, reflect, and refine their understanding of the law. If this library regularly hosts discussions on environmental law, constitutional structure, and the evolving relationship between rights and development, it will be a true tribute to Justice Kuldip Singh. I would urge the young members of this bar to return again and again to the great environmental decisions of our court. Such cases, MC Mehta, Below Citizen, Jagannath, Calcutta Tanneries, Taj Trapezium, all these cases are not merely precedents to be cited. These are all authored by Justice Kuldip Singh. They show how constitutional principles evolved in response to real environmental challenges of their time. As you read them today, reflect also on how those very principles must operate in a world shaped by renewable energy transitions, climate change, emerging technologies, and increasing complex global supply chains. The task before the next generation of lawyers is to carry those principles forward with the same sense of responsibility and imagination. And if, my young friends, you do that, Justice Kuldip Singh's contribution will not remain a chapter in a textbook. It will remain a living force in our jurisprudence. I congratulate Mr. P.S. Patwalia, as also for the Bar Association for taking that initiative for refurbishing the library and dedicating it to one of the most illustrious members. May this space we are soon going to inaugurate continue to produce lawyers and judges who share Justice Kuldip Singh's courage, his clarity, and his commitment to the public interest. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity and sharing my view. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
May I now request the Attorney General of India to share his views.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege. This is just to recognize a noble gesture on the part of my younger brother. सत श्री अकाल. मुझे बहुत आनंद आ रहा आज इस बुद्धिजीवन सभा में एक छोटी सी बात रखने के लिए मुझे मौका मिला है. मगर कुलदीप सिंह जैसे के बाद बात करना तो मगर एक सागर की बात है. So about that, perhaps I'll be too limited in my conversations in Hindi, therefore let me speak in English. A library, as Chief Justice Surya said, is not mere a set of books, nor merely a place. It's a matter of memory. It gathers history. It takes you back in point of time to those people who made lives different over generations. And when a library like this is thought to be donated in the name of Justice Kuldip Singh, it's a great thing to happen. I'm singularly honored to be here today afternoon. I carry a lot of memories in my professional career with Justice Kuldip Singh before he became a judge and after he became a judge. And a long stories, very personal, warm encounters I had at the council. And like many of us who have been in the warmth of his friendship and support as a fellow member of the bar, ever since he became an additional Solicitor General, and thereafter, I remember on an occasion just a few weeks before his appointment to the Supreme Court, In my own little inquisitiveness somewhere, I said, sir, I think you should better go up in the ladder and become the Attorney General for India. He just laughed at it and said, God knows what destiny holds for you. I remember that very interesting evening, and he called me for a dinner. And that evening was a dinner when Justice Krishna was also in town. This on the lighter side. So I went with Justice Krishna for the evening dinner, and all other brother judges were warming up before Krishna could land in the place. Warming up, you understand what it means. And in one inevitable language, Krishna, when I said, you're getting late for the dinner, he said, no, they will all still be in the fluid state. So, but then, Kuldip Singh was never in a fluid state when it comes to advocacy and being a judge. It was a solid state. And if just Kuldip Singh had not been on the bench, MC Mehta would have vanished in no time. And MC Mehta was made a real father figure in our green jurisprudence, courtesy Justice Kuldip Singh's conviction that we must generate a Swadeshi jurisprudence. I remember quoting a US Supreme Court judgment called Maan versus Illinois, where US Supreme Court said life is not mere animal existence. When I was trying to quote the judgment in his court, he said, I remember very clearly, I think we should start citing our own judgments which will be quoted by the rest of the world. And that was the beginning of a green jurisprudence, which is now entirely a Swadeshi jurisprudence. I congratulate Paramjit Singh for the wonderful thought of ingraining the memory of this Kuldip Singh in this very unique way. And therefore I said I'm singularly satisfied to be here today afternoon. Probably I have so many fond memories when he was on the bench. Many of them are probably when I write my stories at a later point of time, how a great judge understands the ethical values which members of the bar practice and how those ethical values do always get recognized. And I can only narrate one particular incident. There was a case relating to an industrial estate from Faridabad. I very unsuccessfully argued an SLB before the Kuldip Singh. But I was distraught when the SLB was dismissed. It was a distraught which I could not handle for quite some time. I thought the judge went wrong. I was so strong in mind that the judge went wrong. So next day, then I filed a review petition, and I sought a leave to make a mention. Very unusual to have a review petition mentioned in the open court for open court hearing. He said, no, it's not done. So I sat down. I was there in the court almost the whole of that forenoon, sitting, watching, probably trying to show that somewhere I was a distraught lawyer, going affected by a wrong that the judge has done. By the time when he rose for lunch, he told the court master, I don't know why Venkataraman is still continuing to sit in the court. Does he have any more matter? The court master reasoned. I said, no, I have only one matter in my heart. Then I really went into this Kuldip Singh. He called me during lunch to his chamber. I opened up in my heart and told him, sir, you were in wrong. He said, you never talked to me like that. You were such a ethically minded lawyer. But I opened up my heart and told him why it went wrong. Look at the noble gesture, Justice Kuldip Singh. Next day, he put up the review petition in the open court and heard me, and the SLP order was recalled. The only reason he told me was, I have found you that you are an ethically sound lawyer. When you're ethically sound, the bench and the world of law and the legal fraternity recognizes you. And therefore, the ethically sound values are so important, and you practice them. And he not only practice them, he also preach them. So a preacher who practices and the one who practices a priest. I found him in a wonderful example of that. Justice Kuldip Singh developed a great warmth and friendship with Justice Krishnaya. And both of us had a common connection with Justice Krishnaya. So one day we were traveling back after a conference in Cochin, traveling the same flight. And he was sharing his good old days of pre-partition and how he moved from, to Chandigarh and how he carried on to care of his family and so on and so forth. A wonderful thing to hear about how many of us have the same kind of backgrounds where we care for our family, we care for a friendship, we care for a close association, and we don't say that we did great things. He never thought we were doing great things. He simply said, I can. And these are the wonderful values of a human being. And I requested the Honorable President of the Punjab High Court Bar Association, now that we have a library which is dedicated to Justice Kuldip Singh, probably let the Attorney General also have a small corner in the library. And hope in some good time, I'd probably like to also donate some books so that I develop my wonderful connection with the Punjab Bar. I used to keep coming here very often, and as only a small token gesture, I would like to hand over a book of poems I've written as a part of the library today. Let me hand it over to Paranjit Singh and one to the... Yes, and one to the... I think I should hand over your mother.
Yes.
I wish I can keep talking more about my wonderful and warm days with Mr. Kuldip Singh, but on an afternoon like this, and as I said, what stands outermost in the world of in jurisprudence today, you will find that the Indian law on environment is quoted not only in India and the Asian continent, but across many parts of the world. The New South Wales, the Australian, and even, I know there is a judge from Hawaii Supreme Court, Mr. Michael, who keeps teaching in Jindal Law School today. He holds the Indian contribution to environmental jurisprudence as one of the outstanding sterling contributions. I think if one person who should be congratulated and appreciated for this in Justice Kuldip Singh, I stand before you in such a honor of congratulating, appreciating, and say let more and more Justice Kuldip Singh be part of our life, be part of a legal fraternity, and be part of our bench. Thank you for your kind attention today afternoon.
May I request Bhagyashri Singh Patwalia and our worthy President Sartej to present a bouquet to Mrs. Gurminder Kaur, wife of late Justice Kuldip Singh.
One of our members, Mr. Anil Goyat, his daughter Naina Singh Goyat has painted a portrait of Honorable the Chief Justice of India. So may I request Mr. Goyat to come ahead and present the portrait. May I request Mr. Patwalia to now come and address the bar forum.
I am here for the vote of thanks. I will keep it short. Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surya Kant, Honorable Justice Rajesh Bindal, Honorable Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Honorable Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Learned Attorney General for India, Shri Venkatraman, Honorable the Chief Justice of the Punjab Haryana High Court, Shri Sheel Naguji, Honorable Judges of the Punjab and Haryana and Delhi and Rajasthan High Courts, Advocate General Punjab, Shri Maninderjit Bedi, Advocate General Haryana, Harwinder Chauhan, Additional Solicitor General Satpal Jain Ji, respected senior advocates, learned members of the bar, distinguished guests, and last but not least, Mr. Narula, President of the Bar Association, and the executive members, the office bearers of the association. It is my privilege and honor to propose a vote of thanks on this very significant occasion today. It is extremely significant because this is the first visit of the Honorable Chief Justice of India to this bar, to our bar and to his bar after his elevation as the Chief Justice of India. And I hope that he keeps on visiting here as often as his busy schedule permits him. It is also very important and rather emotional for me because he is inaugurating this library which is refurbished in memory of my father. He has inspired many, and of course, he has inspired all of us also. At the outset, I express my sincere gratitude to Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surya, for gracing this occasion as the chief guest and for sharing his experiences about my father and the principles promulgated by him in his judgments. Justice Surya, Honorable Chief Justice, has seen my father from the days he began his practice. And also he shares a very deep and long association with this court, having practiced here since 1985 after shifting from his heart. Today, having risen after being a judge of the Supreme Court to lead the judiciary of the country as the Chief Justice of India, his journey from this court to the highest judicial office stands as a source of pride and inspiration for all members of this bar, and rather all bar associations. I am fortunate to have witnessed this journey from 1987 onwards, when I joined the profession, and therefore have a first-hand experience of the same. And in fact, as a member of this bar, I am indeed honored to be here to offer this vote of thanks to you on your first visit over here. Thank you, sir, for your presence today, for taking out time to inaugurate the library, and for being here with all of us. I would also like to sincerely thank Justice Bindal, who agreed to be here on my request. And of course, the arbitration conference was a little bit of a catalyst also. His Lordship shares a long association with this court, having begun practice in 85 and has risen to be a judge of the Supreme Court. His journey is truly inspirational, and his continued connection with this court is valued by all members of this bar. Thank you, sir, for your presence here. My heartfelt and all of our heartfelt thanks to Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, whose presence here has enriched this gathering. His Lordship began his career in Chhattisgarh Bar in 1987. I am saying it because just to introduce a little bit about His Lordship. The other two, they don't need an introduction from me here. From the Chhattisgarh Bar, he later served as Advocate General of Chhattisgarh before his elevation as judge in the Chhattisgarh High Court, then Chief Justice in the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and thereafter as elevation as a judge of the Honorable Supreme Court in May 2023. Thank you, sir, for being with us today. Ours and my sincere thanks also to Justice Satish Chandra Mishra ji. His Lordship, Satish Chandra Sharma ji, my pardon. His Lordship began his career at the bar in Madhya Pradesh High Court at Jabalpur and was designated a senior advocate at the young age of 42, the youngest in the High Court, and which shows his capability and acumen as a lawyer, which was recognized at that young age. Thereafter, His Lordship served as judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, acting chief of the Karnataka High Court, Chief Justice of Telangana and Delhi High Courts, and since his elevation to the Honorable Supreme Court in November 23, His Lordship's continued commitment to constitutional values and rule of law greatly enriches the judiciary, and his presence truly adds honor and grace to this occasion today. I thank you very much, sir, for being here. I extend my sincere gratitude to the learned Attorney General for India, Shri R. Venkatraman. I can take the liberty of saying that he has been my friend and senior from the days I joined the Supreme Court after I demitted office and went there. He is a distinguished constitutional lawyer, one of the finest legal minds of our country. With over 4 decades of practice before the Supreme Court, having begun his career in 1977 in Tamil Nadu and moved to the Supreme Court and joined the chambers of the eminent constitutional lawyer, Mr. P.P. Rao, in 1979, and thereafter started his independent practice in 82. He was later designated senior advocate in 1997 in the Supreme Court itself. He served as a member of the Law Commission and has continued his engagement with legal scholarship and reform reflect his deep commitment to strengthening our judicial system, which now, as the Attorney General for India, he has more opportunity and he is doing. We are deeply enriched by your thoughts, sir, and your presence here. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank Honorable the Chief Justice of the Punjab Haryana High Court, Justice Sheel Nagu, an able jurist and administrator, for presiding over this function, for his continued encouragement towards strengthening of the bar, the institutions that support it. Your Lordship took oath as Chief Justice of the High Court in July 2024 and brought with him judicial experience and administrative vision and continues to inspire and guide this institution. Thank you, sir, for the encouragement. And I also extend my sincere thanks to all sitting judges of this court, of the Delhi High Court and Rajasthan, for your gracious presence today, and also acknowledge and thank former judges of this court who have joined us on this occasion. Their continued association with this court and invaluable contribution to the development of this court and law here remain a source of great respect and inspiration for all members of the bar. I also thank all senior advocates and members of the bar who have joined today. Your presence here makes this function and means a lot to all of us. I would now like to thank Mr. Narula, the President of the bar, and his office bearers and executive members for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this institution by refurbishing this library in memory of my father. It gives and gave me an opportunity to give back to this institution, which has given me and all of us so much, and rather we are all here because of this great institution. A library is in fact the heart of every bar. It is where young lawyers learn, ideas grow, and where coming generation of advocates prepare to serve the cause of justice. My humble hope is that this library will not only provide knowledge and resource to lawyers, but also inspire them to follow the values of my father, Justice Kuldip Singh, who stood for hard work, integrity, and courage of your conviction, and a deep commitment to the rule of law. I extend my thanks to the office bearers of the Punjab Haryana High Court, members of the staff and organizing team, and everybody who has worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Last but not the least is a special thanks to Mr. Harwinder Maan, our treasurer, who actually worked day and night, not metaphorically, but actually. He would, today morning when I came just to see what was happening, he was there. And he told me, I'm just going to tell that. He told me, I went at 4 o'clock in the morning and I have just come back. It was about 11 o'clock when I came. And I said, I was just resting for half an hour to get fresh again. He has and over the last 2 weeks, whenever I have been coming here, because I come only on holidays, so the only person I would find here is him. On every holiday, he would be there. I said, what are you doing? Today it is the traffic management, or it is the parking management. One day he was cleaning the entire parking. He said for 20 years parking has not been cleaned. Such dedication to serve the bar should be appreciated, and we all appreciate it. So I think I will conclude just by presenting a memento to Mr. Maan. I again thank all our distinguished guests and members of the bar for making this occasion so special. Thank you, sir.
May I now request the guest of honor and the Chief Justice of India for the inauguration of
पाटवा साहब 2 स्टेप पीछे जिन्हें जगह पीछे करोगे 19 स्पेस देगी जिन्हें जगह पीछे करोगे नहीं बढ़िया रहेगी चल तू उठी रख हां जी चीफ साहब यस प्लीज ओवर देयर चीफ साहब ओवर देयर Yes, please. Let the dignitaries come. आप आराम से बैठिए. सर, उनको सामने आना पड़ता है. Come, chief. Where is chief? Yes. आओ. आप आओ. हाँ, आप आपको 2 स्टेप पीछे आना पड़ेगा. बड़े पीछे थोड़े. ममता जी. आप वहाँ पे
Mama, look this side. Look towards us.
हाइट ही बहुत अच्छी सॉन्ग लग रहा है. Have a big hand. Yes. So good. So good. So one more step and inside. Let's move.
These are permanent.
किताबें भी थोड़ी पुरानी है, वो ठीक करने वाली है.
Sir, आओ सर.
बताइए सारा बताइए जी. हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट.
Let's speak up there.
Mama, आ जाओ अंदर. Let's go.
Sir, come sir, please. Come sir.